The snow didn't fall gently out here. It came sideways, driven hard by a wind that had crossed 100 miles of empty plains without ever slowing down. It scraped against skin like sandpaper and buried the land in a white silence that felt heavier than sound. The frontier was already cruel in winter, but today it felt intentional, like the earth itself was watching. She knelt in the frozen ground with bare hands. Her name was Eleanor Gray, though no one had spoken it in days. The wool shawl around her shoulders was soaked through, stiff with ice. Each breath burned. Each movement sent needles of pain up her arms, but she didn't stop digging. She couldn't. The ground was hard as iron, and the shovel beside her lay broken where the handle had split hours earlier. Behind her, wrapped in a threadbare blanket, lay the smallest shape imaginable. Her child. No marker, no coffin. Just snow, frozen dirt, and a mother who refused to leave. Every scrape of her fingers against the earth tore skin away. Blood dotted the snow like spilled ink. She didn't notice. Grief had narrowed her world to one task and one task only. Finish the whole before night swallowed what little warmth the day still held. Out on the ridge, a horse stopped. Jonah Cole reined in slowly, eyes fixed on the shape moving below. He'd been riding fence since dawn, checking the north line of his ranch before the storm worsened. The cattle were restless, the sky wrong. That was when he saw her, dark against the white, bent low, unmoving except for the slow rhythm of grief. At first, he thought she was a prospector gone mad. Then the wind shifted. Jonah saw the small bundle behind her. He swore under his breath. The smart thing, the frontier thing, was to keep riding. Winter didn't forgive hesitation. Strangers brought trouble, and trouble out here often came armed. Jonah had learned that lesson young, learned it with blood in the snow and a grave of his own making. But his horse refused to move. Jonah dismounted. He walked down the slope, boots crunching loud in the quiet. Eleanor didn't turn, didn't look up. She kept clawing at the earth like the ground might take pity if she tried hard enough. "You'll lose your hands," Jonah said, voice low, careful not to break her. No response. He crouched beside her, close enough to see her fingers split and raw. Close enough to see that her eyes were dry, not because she wasn't grieving, but because she'd already cried herself empty. "How long's he been gone?" Jonah asked. Her voice came out thin, cracked. "Since dawn." Jonah closed his eyes. He took his shovel from the saddle. The iron blade rang sharp when it struck the frozen ground. Eleanor flinched at the sound, finally looking at him as if noticing another human for the first time. "I can do it," she said. "I just need time." "You don't have it," Jonah replied. He dug. Each strike was brutal, echoing across the plains. The earth fought him, but iron always wins eventually. Eleanor watched, something between suspicion and relief twisting in her chest. "You shouldn't help me," she said. Jonah didn't stop. "Then I shouldn't have been born on this land either." Minutes passed. The wind howled louder. Snow crept into the hole as fast as Jonah cleared it. Eleanor rose slowly, joints screaming, and took the shovel when his arms began to shake. They worked without speaking, passing the tool back and forth. Two silhouettes against a hostile sky. It felt intimate in a way neither was ready to name. By the time the grave was deep enough, Eleanor could no longer feel her feet. They lowered the child together. Eleanor whispered something Jonah couldn't hear. A promise, maybe, or an apology. When the earth covered the small shape, the wind softened, as if even it knew to give them a moment. That was when the sound came. Hooves, not one horse, several. Jonah's hand went to his revolver before his mind caught up. He scanned the ridge. 3 riders crested the hill, coats dark, faces wrapped. Not ranchers, not neighbors. Their horses were lean and hard-eyed. Raiders. Winter wolves. Eleanor saw them too. Her breath caught. "They followed me." Jonah finished filling the grave and planted the shovel like a marker. How long?" "Since the river," she said. "They wanted my wagon. My husband fought them. He didn't make it." Jonah's jaw tightened. He counted rifles. Counted odds. Counted the distance back to his ranch and knew they'd never make it. He stepped in front of Eleanor without thinking. The lead rider raised a hand, smiled. "Well," the man called, "ain't this a touching sight?" Jonah drew his gun. Snow fell harder. and the frontier waited to see who would bleed next. The wind carried the riders closer, their horses breathing steam like engines built for violence. Jonah didn't fire, not yet. Out here, the first shot decided everything, and he needed time more than blood. "Easy," he called, lowering the gun just enough to look calm. "Ain't much worth killing over in this storm." The lead rider laughed and nudged his horse forward. "That grave says otherwise." Eleanor's hand slipped into Jonah's coat sleeve without asking. It was instinct, not romance. Two people bracing against the same fall. Jonah felt it anyway. The weight of her fear, the trust she didn't have time to question. "They'll take us," she whispered. "If we don't move now." Jonah knew she was right and wrong. Running meant being hunted. Staying meant choosing a line to die on. He made the choice. A single gunshot cracked the air, echoing across the plains. One rider fell. The others scattered, yelling, circling like coyotes denied an easy meal. Chaos tore the silence apart. Jonah fired again, Eleanor dragging the spare rifle from the saddle with shaking hands. She fired once. Hit nothing, but it was enough. The riders pulled back, not retreating, watching, waiting, promises written in their eyes. When they were gone, the silence returned heavier than before. Jonah turned to Eleanor. "My ranch is 10 miles south. If we're moving, it's now." She nodded, tears freezing on her lashes. Behind them, the grave disappeared beneath fresh snow. Ahead, the dark plains stretched wide, and the raiders would follow.